One of these trees has been cultivated in extreme heat for 7,000 years. It also survives winters that drop 20 below zero. One is a Mediterranean fruit your nursery will tell you cannot grow north of Virginia. It fruits in Chicago. One is the only larval food source on Earth for a specific American butterfly. Remove this tree from a landscape, and that butterfly disappears with it. And one of them gave us a word you say at breakfast. You have never connected that word to a tree. 9 fruit trees. Every one of them loves hot summers. Every one of them handles freezing winters. And most of them, your nursery has never stocked. Number 1. Jujube, Ziziphus jujuba. Zones 5 through 10. Jujube has been cultivated in China for roughly 7,000 years, mostly in regions where summer temperatures regularly pass 100 degrees. It survives on almost no supplemental water once established. If that were the whole story, you would file it under desert trees and move on. But Jujube also handles Zone 5 winters, where temperatures drop to 10 below 0 degrees Fahrenheit and even 20 below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. No wrapping, no burying. It simply goes dormant and waits. The cultivar honey jar is the one to start with. Small fruit, intensely sweet, with a crisp, apple-like bite when you pick it at the half-brown stage. Let it go further and it turns chewy and date-like, which is why it has been called the Chinese date for centuries. Self-fruitful, often bearing in its second year. A potted tree runs about $45 from Stark Brothers or Raintree Nursery. Planted against a south-facing wall or fence where reflected heat helps the fruit ripen. New Mexico State University runs the most comprehensive Jujube trial program in the country, with over 30 cultivars planted across 3 test sites. One thing to know before you order. Jujube survives cold winters, but it needs genuinely hot summers to ripen its fruit. If your July temperatures rarely reach the mid-80s, the fruit may stay bland. If your summers stay mild, keep watching. Several trees later on this list will suit you better. It leaves out later than anything else in your yard, later than oak, later than walnut, as if it needs one more week to confirm that spring is real. Before number 2, something worth understanding because it changes how you read every plant tag at the nursery. Cold hardiness, chill hours, and heat tolerance are 3 different measurements. Cold hardiness is the lowest winter temperature a tree survives. Chill hours are how many hours of cold a tree needs each winter to set fruit the following year. And heat tolerance is how much summer warmth a tree handles before it drops fruit, scorches its leaves, or shuts down. Most fruit trees score well on one of these. The 9 trees in this video score high on all 3. Once you understand that distinction, every tag in the store tells you more than it used to. Number 2. American persimmon, Diospyros virginiana, zones 4 through 9. Your nursery sells persimmons. They sell the Asian kind fuyu in a glossy pot with a zone 7 tag. But there is a native persimmon. It grows wild from Connecticut to Kansas, handles summer heat that would stress a peach tree, and rarely makes the shelf at any nursery. The genus name Diospyros translates to fruit of the gods. That name was earned a long time before anyone had a greenhouse. The cultivar meter is self-fertile, handles winters down to roughly minus 25 degrees Fahrenheit, and bears about 30 pounds at maturity. It grows in clay, in sand, even near black walnut trees, which poison most fruit through the roots. A grafted tree costs around $40 and fruits in 3 to 5 years. Give it room. The taproot goes deep and the canopy can reach 40 feet, so put it where you mean to keep it. In late October, deep orange fruits hang from bare branches like ornaments. The ripe flesh is honey sweet with a texture that dissolves on your tongue. But pick one before it softens and your mouth puckers for an hour. If you are growing fruit in a zone where summers regularly hit the 90s and you want a tree that does not even notice, drop your zone in the comments and tell me which of these first 2 you had never considered. And if this is the kind of content you've been looking for, subscribe so the next one finds you. The next tree on this list sounds like a mistake. Number 3. Chicago hardy fig, Ficus carica, zones 5 through 10, a fig tree in zone 5. The Missouri Botanical Garden lists Chicago hardy as one of the hardiest edible figs in cultivation, reliable in Zone 6 and pushing into Zone 5 with root protection. The branches may freeze to the ground in a harsh winter. Here is why that does not matter. This fig fruits on new wood. If every branch above the soil line dies, the roots push new growth in spring, and that new growth produces figs the same season. Planted against a south-facing wall with heavy mulch at the base. In August, split one open and the interior is pink, honey-sweet, still warm from the masonry behind it. Zone 5 and 6 growers harvest figs like this every summer. In Zone 7 and warmer, you do nothing special. It also thrives in a large container on a sunny patio. Move the pot into a garage for winter. It goes dormant, needs no light, and wakes up on its own in spring. Self-pollinating. No fig wasp needed. A potted tree costs $30 to $70. Your main competition for the ripe fruit will be birds, not weather. Number 4. Cold hardy pomegranate, Punica granatum. Zones 7 through 10, with protected Zone 6 possible. Most pomegranate varieties belong in the desert. The cultivar Salivatsky is different. It comes from the mountains between Russia and Azerbaijan, where winters drop well below freezing and summers bake. It handles cold down to roughly 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Crack open a ripe Salivatsky, and the areoles are a deep garnet, tart, and sweet at the same time, juicier than grocery store pomegranates. Press them for fresh juice, and you will understand why the bottled kind tastes flat. Planted in a sunny corner near stone or masonry, where stored heat radiates back through the evening. One honest distinction. Pomegranate is a dry heat tree. In the humid southeast, it develops fungal problems and the fruit splits on the branch. If your summers are hot and dry, this tree will reward you. If your summers are hot and humid, your money is better spent on the American persimmon. Those first 4 are fruits you know by name, even if you did not know they could grow in your zone. The next one, you have almost certainly never seen. Number 5. CHE, Maclura tricuspidata, Zones 5 through 9. Most nursery employees have never heard of this tree. Che goes by several names: Mandarin melonberry, Chinese mulberry, kudrang. It is a relative of the Osage orange, the tree that drops those heavy, bumpy, brain-shaped fruits along fence rows across the Midwest. But where Osage orange fruit is useless to eat, Che produces fruit worth eating. The ripe fruit looks like a dark red raspberry the size of a golf ball. Pick one and the fragrance reaches you before the flavor does. Soft, almost jammy, somewhere between fresh fig and ripe watermelon. Nothing else in a temperate garden tastes like it. It handles heat, drought, and poor soil with very few pest problems. Plant it along a back fence where you will not brush against the thorns daily. The cultivar Norris, a female selection from Cricket Hill Garden in Connecticut, is the one to look for. Sellers often claim it fruits without a pollinator. Cricket Hill, who actually grows these trees, recommends planting a male nearby for reliable fruit set. Trust the grower over the product listing. Che is the tree you grow to discover something new. The next one solves a problem you already have. Number 6. Hardy mulberry Morris species, Zones 4 through 9. If you grow blueberries or sweet cherries, you know the frustration. Birds get to the ripe fruit before you do. Mulberry fixes that. Birds prefer mulberry over almost every other fruit in the garden. Plant one within sight of your other crops, and 20 cedar waxwings will descend on its branches at dawn instead of yours. Keep it away from driveways and patios, because fallen fruit stains concrete a purple that does not wash off. Illinois everbearing is the cultivar for cold climates. Illinois everbearing is self-fertile and it fruits continuously from July through September. The berries are about 1.5 inches long, sweet, and they stain your fingers the same deep purple the birds leave on the sidewalk. You will see Pakistan mulberry sold online with claims of cold hardiness. Be careful. Growers across the northern states consistently report that it freezes back in Zone 6 winters. For cold climate reliability, Illinois everbearing is the safer choice. About $70 from Stark Brothers, but it earns that back in fruit within 2 seasons. And now, the butterfly tree. Number 7. Pawpaw, Asimina triloba, Zones 5 through 8. Every nursery tag says the same thing about pawpaw. Shade-loving understory tree. For seedlings in their first year or two, that is true. Plant them under the dappled canopy of a taller tree while they get established. But once a pawpaw is rooted, it fruits best in full sun and handles extreme heat. During the June 2021 heat dome, Portland hit 116 degrees Fahrenheit. Full-sun pawpaws came through with zero damage. Loquat trees burned, kiwi vines scorched. The pawpaws looked greener afterward. The fruit is the largest edible fruit native to North America. Press your thumb into a ripe one and it yields like an avocado. Scoop the flesh with a spoon. Tropical custard. The cultivar. Shenandoah is productive and specifically noted as heat-tolerant by North Carolina State Extension. Susquehanna has the richest flavor. Plant 2 different cultivars within about 15 feet of each other because you need genetically different trees for cross-pollination. The flowers are pollinated by flies and beetles rather than bees, which is why some growers hang overripe banana peels near the branches during bloom. Kentucky State University runs the only full-time pawpaw research program in the world, maintaining over 2,000 specimens on 12 acres. And here's the thing about pawpaw that might matter most. It is the only larval host plant for the zebra swallowtail butterfly. No other tree on this continent supports that caterpillar. When you plant a pawpaw, you are not only growing fruit, you are giving a butterfly somewhere to live. Now, the breakfast word. Number 8. Quince, Cydonia oblonga, zones 5 through 9. Your great-grandmother probably grew a quince tree. You probably do not. Nurseries rarely carry them, and when they do, the tag comes with a warning. Fruit too hard and too astringent to eat raw. That warning is accurate and completely beside the point. Cook a quince and the white flesh turns a deep rose pink. The flavor goes honeyed and floral, rich enough to fill a kitchen. Set a ripe quince on a windowsill and the fragrance alone, something like roses and pears and vanilla, is worth growing the tree for. The whole room changes. Quince also has the highest natural pectin of any common fruit, meaning it gels on its own without anything added. That detail matters because the word marmalade comes from the Portuguese word marmelo. Marmelo means quince. The original marmalade was not made from oranges. It was made from this tree. You have been saying its name at the breakfast table your whole life without knowing it. Quince handles summer heat with ease. Historically, it grew in places where apples could not tolerate the warmth. The cultivar pineapple has a mild, pineapple-like flavor, bears in 3 to 5 years, and is self-fertile. Beautiful enough for a front yard with its spring blossoms. Main threat is fire blight. Low nitrogen fertilizer and pruning in dry weather keep it in check. Number 9. Cornelian cherry, Cornus moss, zones 4 through 8. Everything about how this tree is sold is wrong. The name says cherry. It is a dogwood. The nursery files it in the ornamental section. It is a food crop, and it has been one for thousands of years. Cornelian cherry is grown commercially today in Ukraine, Serbia, Turkey, and Iran. The cultivar Jolico, a European selection, produces fruit 3 times the size of the wild type, sweet enough to eat fresh off the branch. The ripe fruit looks like a small, elongated olive, deep red, with a flavor somewhere between tart cherry and cranberry. It makes preserves, syrups, and a traditional Eastern European drink that tastes like cranberry juice with more depth. It blooms before forsythia, sometimes before the last snow melts, tiny, bright yellow flowers clustered tight along bare branches. In February or March, when every other tree is still gray, this one is already the first real color in the landscape. Put it in the front yard where you can see those blooms from a window. The flowers tolerate temperatures down to roughly 18 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it almost never loses a crop to late frost. The wood is so dense it does not float. A healthy tree lives 50 to 100 years. You are planting this one for the next generation too. The University of Washington Botanic Gardens notes that Hippocrates wrote about its medicinal uses. Ovid referenced it in the Metamorphoses. Greek soldiers valued the wood for spears because nothing else was that hard and that straight. Thousands of years of documented cultivation, and your nursery files it next to the azaleas. Plant 2 different cultivars for reliable fruit set. Now picture all 9 in one yard. Mulberry ripens first in June and July. Fig follows in July through September. Cornelian, cherry, and chi come in during August. Pawpaw fills late August into September. Jujube ripens from September into October. Then quince and pomegranate in October. And American persimmon closes the season, hanging from bare branches into November. 6 months of fruit from 9 trees that were built for the worst your weather can do. Tell me which one goes in your yard first and drop your zone so I can tell you the best spot for it. Subscribe, and I will keep finding them.